Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for the Q&A of Iron Man. We're really excited to have the director and the subject of the film here with us today. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone to remember to rate all the movies after you watch them. This one in particular is available for an audience award at the end of the week, and rating it will help us determine the winner for that. So remember to rate. And then I also want to thank our major sponsors and the sponsors of this film, Jim Sargent and Films for Good through Bob and Christine Williams. So thank you guys. I'm going to let Curtis and Ricardo kind of introduce themselves and maybe how they, got involved in this project, how they met each other and all that.
Cool. My name is Curtis Yap. I'm the director and editor of Iron Man. I actually know Ricardo, or Mr. Magny. He was my high school environmental science teacher. And I remember he drove a Hummer, and I thought that was kind of interesting because he taught environmental science.
Yeah.
And then one day in class, he showed us a video of him pulling a plane or
Yep.
something really heavy. And I was like,
An
so
airplane,
impressed. Yeah, I remember that. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Well, anyway, that was like 10 years ago. And then a few years from now, I just found him on Instagram and I was kind of following his journey. And that's how I kind of stumbled upon the idea for this movie when I realized what had happened.
Yeah. Cool. I know that a big theme in the movie is, goal setting, accomplishing the goal and never giving up in that process, regardless of what happens. And I'm just curious for both of you, Ricardo, how did goal setting and, perseverance and all of that play into kind of your recovery? And then for you, Curtis, how has goal setting and stuff kind of played into being a filmmaker and kind of the career that is?
Well, thanks for having me on here, by the way, you guys. Yeah, goal setting, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for goal setting. That's for sure. So I can tell you that I was on super good pace with my recovery from the heart attack and open heart surgery when, as you know, 3 weeks later, I had a stroke. So then it was below square one. I wish it was back to square one because I already know how to recover from that. But
Right.
And I'm not recovered totally yet, but I'm getting there. My hand is still a little bit paralyzed. I walk with a tiny bit of a limp sometimes. My right side still isn't unparalyzed yet, but it's getting there. And it's totally normal. It's only been 7 months after the stroke. Sometimes it takes 1.5 years, 2 years. Some people never get it back. I'll get it back. So goal setting is 100% of the reason why I'm where I am right now.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as far as goal setting goes, I always have like ideas on how to shoot the film, but once I kind of get there, it'll change. And when I first got there, Mr. Magni, I was like setting lights up everywhere and doing all kinds of stuff. And then I asked you to turn off the lights, and it just looked perfect. So it's like, you can have an idea of what you want, but like once you're in this situation, you kind of have to just adapt to your new environment,
Yeah.
Totally. And how Curtis has goal setting just kind of, because I know you, you have multiple films in this festival this year, and you've been doing photography and being a director of photography and all that kind of stuff for multiple years now. How is just kind of filmmaking as a whole been for you, and where did you kind of start and now where you're at and stuff? How has goal setting kind of helped with that?
Well, after I graduated high school, my goal was to be an engineer. And I went to Hancock for a few years and I transferred and I realized that I hated it. So I went back to community college. So I started studying English and taking film classes. And I started to realize that it could be like a legitimate career. And a lot of people weren't happy at first, like my parents, a lot of my friends. It's kind of a risk. But I think I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now and kind of where I'm going because I stuck with it. I didn't really give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's so cool. I'm curious what your guys' goals were with making this movie. Like, Ricardo, what was your goal with wanting to tell this story? And then Curtis, what was your goal or with making it and just kind of bringing it all to life and being able to kind of have a platform to share this story?
Well, for me, it's pretty obvious, Grace, that it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And I tell that to many of my high school athletes because I coach at the high school. I tell it to students who are in my class. It doesn't matter where you start, but you've got to finish. And a lot of times we can finish in a lot better place than where we started. In 2019, in my last big weightlifting competition, I won 4 bronze medals at the World Arm Lifting Championships in St. Petersburg, Russia. And that's not for old guys, that's for young guys, the open category, right? So even at that time, I was 44 years old. I could hang with the young guys just fine and get 4 bronze medals. Now, the next goal is, once the world opens up and we get back to normal, is to, as Curtis knows, bronze isn't my favorite color. So it's to change colors, upgrade, so to speak. And it may take a year or two, but I'm confident I'll be able to get there. And other people are facing other challenges, especially with this pandemic. And maybe they can watch this and think to themselves, hey, that big bald guy, he beat his challenges. Maybe I can figure out a way of how to beat my challenges. And if one person watches this and gets inspired to overcome whatever the challenge is, then I think this was it was beyond worth it then.
That's so awesome. Do you have anything to add to that, Curtis?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with, that being the message of the film. And I hope that's what people take away from it. And just personally, I was involved because I knew Mr. Magny, he had an impact on me, obviously. And I kind of just wanted to reach out to more local people, because as a filmmaker, I always have aspirations of like these big budget, cool movies. But I mean, there's just interesting stories and interesting people and inspiring stories and inspiring people around you that I think it's important to kind of reach out to them, get their stories out there.
Totally. And Ricardo, I love what you said about how, especially just in this time with, the pandemic and everyone being so, just having so many struggles and so many adversities like through this, I think it's such an awesome time to have this film be available to people and just to kind of give them that extra push of like, no, you can do this. We're almost through. We're almost there. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Like, keep going. So that's awesome. And
thank you.
Yeah, do you guys have just any kind of final comments or anything that you guys are excited about in the future? Ways to follow you guys if people are interested, get in contact, anything like that?
Sure. First of all, I have to compliment Curtis. I mean, he was a fantastic student in high school, but he gets beyond an A+ for this film. I was blown away when I sat there and I watched it the first time. I've sent it to many of my friends who watch it literally all around the world, and they all think it's amazing. I mean, not anyone has even minor feedback. They think it's amazing. One person said, "Hey, how big was the film crew that came to your house?" Yeah, so I just laughed. So yeah, because I have thousands of people watch me in my training and on Instagram, and that's mainly where I post. But I'm also available on Facebook as well. And I think, hey, if I can help people either improve at the sport of arm lifting, which I do, I coach some people, and we have a global community that's involved in this type of lifting. And then if we have people who are interested on how do you recover from this heart attack, and then how did you recover from a stroke after that, I'd be happy to converse with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was just really happy to share this space with Mr. Magny. It was really nice.
Yeah, that's so cool too that you guys were able to kind of reconnect, because I know there was a part in the movie where you were talking about how inspiring it is to hear from other students and students that you've taught, and just see where they're at and everything now. So I love that you guys were able to kind of reconnect and go on this journey together. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I've been teaching public high school for 25 years now and coaching for the same amount of time. And every now and then you run into someone out of the blue from years ago, and it's just great to catch up with them and see how they're doing. You could see them in Walmart or hear from them on Facebook or Instagram or email, or sometimes they somehow get your phone number and call you. It's great no matter what. And so for Curtis contacting me and to collaborate with him on this, it was fantastic.
So cool. Well, thank you guys so much for just taking the time to be a part of this Q&A, and we're really excited to have this movie in the festival and for everyone to just see it. So thank you guys. Awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.